This program is part of the Cosmic Potato Podcast Network. For more shows like this, visit our website at cosmicpotato.com.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
I am Iron Man. That's a big twink.
Pizza Dude's got 30 seconds.
You are a toy!
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Why so serious? The city's flying. We're fighting an army of robots. And I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
And welcome to World War G episode 234. I'm Troy.
I'm AJ.
Just the two of us.
Yeah.
Feel like I should break into song. Just the two of us. Yeah, and this is pretty much how it's going to be now.
Yeah, at least going forward for the foreseeable future.
The foreseeable future. Colton has decided to step away from the podcast.
He's got a lot on his plate.
He does.
Yeah.
He messaged me and he said something about finding the real killer. I don't know. It was weird.
The real killer.
Yeah. No, I mean, in interest, of full disclosure, he was just basically spreading himself a bit too thin.
Right.
And so
between family, new child, job, everything else.
Yeah. And so, we were kind of the thing that he could easily drop and...
What? Wow. Drop it like it's hot.
No, I mean, but here's the thing. I certainly don't wish him any ill will or anything, obviously.
No.
It's totally his decision. And, I would never want this podcast to seem like work.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't want him to begrudgingly come here every week.
Well, you can definitely
obligated.
You'd be able to tell in the voice if we weren't adamant or passionate about what we're doing.
Yeah.
It shows.
Yeah.
They can for sure hear.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something you can easily fake that enthusiasm forever.
Yeah.
But plus, I was also thinking about this and just it's definitely a commitment, because you're getting stories ready throughout the week. I mean, I just do it automatically without even thinking anymore.
Yeah, me too.
But, and also being able to post everything else up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're right. It does take a little commitment. But yeah, so.
But we did get to have him with us at FanX.
We did. He was with us for a couple days.
Which this whole month is going to be, we're going to dedicate it basically to FanX, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what we're going to do is later on in this episode, we'll break down FanX and kind of our whole experience there. We had a different experience this time.
Yeah.
Than what we have had done in the past. And each post-credit scene for the next 4 episodes, we're going to plug in our interviews.
And kind of talk them up a little bit and, yeah.
Yeah, do a little intro with them and kind of talk about who the celebrity is and that sort of thing.
So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. But yeah, and if and when the time comes, you ever decide to step away from the podcast, know that I have a contingency plan for that.
Really?
I do.
You're basically like Batman. You know how he's got a contingency plan for all of the Justice League?
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a podcast contingency plan.
Hey, Sean, is that it?
No.
Oh.
I'd go at it solo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I do. See, my plan is, what I want to do is kind of a daily show.
Okay.
Not the daily show. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
But basically a daily podcast that lasts anywhere between maybe 15 to 45 minutes, basically talking about all things pop culture.
Right. It is a little bit difficult. We have to be kind of pick and choose what we're going to talk about. And there's so many stories that are constantly dropping daily. You know, that we're just mainly picking the ones that we're going to have like some, we're going to be able to talk about, as well as the big stories.
Right.
You know?
And the stories that we think that people will find interesting.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, but if I did a daily show, you know, I would be able to talk about a lot more, a different variety of stuff.
Yeah.
But
if I were to, now that I know that you have a contingency plan, I've got one as well.
Yeah.
I would probably just mainly focus on graphic novels or comic books.
Yeah.
And just kind of like more or less almost do like a YouTube channel of it where it's just like break it down. This is the author. These are the illustrators. This is like my review, and give it like, you know, I would totally steal like our out of 5 whatevers. Yeah, for sure. I would do that.
Well, maybe I should trademark that then. But yeah, so that's my plan if and when this whole thing goes tits up, as the English people say.
Although, like, full disclosure, I would do it in person, and it's not for the foreseeable future. So
of course,
you're stuck with me. You too, listeners.
All right. So let's move on. Now that we've mourned the loss of Colton, and
yes.
So for you, Colton
Knights,
Coltonianiacs,
yeah,
Colton heads. I don't know.
Man, there goes half our listeners.
Speaking of that, do you think that the listeners we have, like, they have favorites among us?
I don't know. You think? I mean, I would be tentative to like want to throw it up on.
No, I don't think
social media.
Yeah, I wouldn't do a poll or anything.
Yeah,
but I'm just curious.
I know I have my favorites.
Me too.
Yeah.
So I found this story, and I had to throw it in because it was Superman.
Yes.
Superman will finally reveal his identity to the world. The running joke of Superman's secret identity may finally come to an end. Now that DC Comics has confirmed the Man of Steel will reveal his biggest secret to the world this winter. And neither his nor Clark Kent's world will ever be the same. Of course, there's always been that joke that how do people not know that he's Clark Kent?
Yeah, he just changes his hair, put on the glasses.
He's got the glasses and that sort of thing. But there is this funny meme with Zooey Deschanel where it has her without bangs.
Okay.
And people wonder why people don't know Clark Kent is Superman. I don't know this is Zooey Deschanel without bangs. And so, you know, it makes sense.
Right. Well, the biggest one for me has always been like Lois Lane.
Right.
Right? Not being able to know who it is. Like,
and wish she found out eventually.
Yeah.
Because he told her.
Right, but it took him telling her for her to figure it out. Which she's a reporter, and she's always like, you know, looking for anything.
I know.
Yeah.
A Pulitzer Prize winning reporter.
Couldn't figure out who Superman was.
But, I mean, and they've retconned that many times where they've talked about hypnosis, they've talked about
his glasses,
they've talked about how he can vibrate his face such where he's always a little blurry and it's not quite in focus to anybody.
Yeah.
And there's been certain stuff like how he carries himself, how he speaks,
his whole demeanor.
Yeah.
He does there is seriously a night and day difference when you see him, you know, on the street and as Superman.
Yeah.
You know, he's got slumped shoulders, kind of like glasses, a little like more timid,
kind of shy.
Yeah. And then Superman, like he's just like chest out, like, you know, like ready for action kind of a deal.
But yeah, it's going to happen in Superman number 18, which hits comic book shops everywhere on December 11th of this year.
Would it really, it'll make for some interesting comics because now that everybody would know who he is, you know, he can't really hide anymore.
Which I'm sure that means the whole glasses thing is going to be gone. And yeah.
But like, my biggest concern, I guess, for Superman would be where he's going to get the money from to continue. I guess he's part of the Justice League, right? Perhaps Bruce Wayne could like throw him a couple of bucks.
That's true.
You know,
it would be hard to continue being a reporter after
it's not like he's living a lavish lifestyle or anything, but like this is basically Superman saying like, come at me, bro. Like,
pretty much.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, I'm invincible. You know, I can't be killed.
It's like, you know who I am.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
He's basically pulling a Tony Stark, Iron Man kind of a thing, right?
Pretty much.
Although he's more invincible than Tony Stark is.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Tony Stark would have to hire like security or just always constantly be on the lookout.
Yeah. Which is ironic because Iron Man's comic was always called the Invincible Iron Man.
Yeah.
But anyway.
In other news, Denzel Washington is being eyed to play in the MCU. He'll be, they're looking at him to play Magneto.
And surprise, surprise, the internet's not happy about it.
Right. No, they were kind of like, well, and I was thinking about it, and when I first told you the story, or we were talking about it, I accidentally said Professor X, which I think he could play pretty well. He could play a great Professor X.
He'd be a good Professor X.
Right? Mentoring all these like little kids, as well as just, I think his different approach to it would actually be, you know, something fresh and help revamp this whole franchise.
Yeah. And he doesn't play a villain often, Denzel.
No.
He has in shows like American Gangster and Training Day. He can play a villain, but I could definitely see him being more of a Professor X. I mean, he was Malcolm X.
Right.
So, you know.
And I was even looking up his IMDb to kind of like see all these different roles that he's played.
Yeah.
Equalizer 2 came out last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then before that, it was like Fences, which you really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Having been, you know, in the South. And then also Magnificent Seven. And yeah, then it's like starts going back to like 2012. I mean, it's like hit or miss. He's been a staple in Hollywood for years. Mm-hmm. And I do think that, see, I've always wondered about this. When you bring a new person in to revamp a franchise, when you've already got somebody pretty iconic in that role, it's got to be just as big of a celebrity. I really don't think that, like, the other X-Men movies, they were okay, but I think part of the reason is because of the person that they had playing, you know, Magneto and Professor X and some of these iconic roles that we've already seen played by somebody else and done better. But yeah, I think Denzel, I guess I think he could do a good job with it. I'm not too concerned.
No, he'd be, plug him into any role and he'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Wolverine.
Well, yeah, like I said, I mean, people are losing their minds.
Yeah.
Because you can't have a black man play Magneto. Like somebody actually said on Twitter, you can't be Magneto because Magneto is Jewish. And he's black. And like,
what? Okay.
There were black Jews back in the day. There still are.
Yeah.
There were black Jews in Germany.
Yeah. Well, that and also they might a little bit have a different take on his origin. Yeah. Well, like still have him be a Holocaust survivor. But, I mean, there were also blacks, you know, Jews, gays, like there was like tons of different people that they...
Surprise, surprise!
Yeah, it wasn't like that whole 11 million wasn't just Jewish people.
Yeah, just white Jewish people.
Yeah.
White, straight Jewish people.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah,
No. Open a book sometime.
Yeah.
But and that also would give him an extra hatred of humanity.
Yeah.
Because not only is he Jewish with the Holocaust, but he's a man of color.
Correct. The race, like, I guess the race angle, but like portrayed in a good, So it just gives him kind of extra layers there, where he can kind of be, maybe even be a bit more sympathetic to his cause. Right? Yeah. And like vice versa, because I know that they've done the movie with like Will Smith, Bright.
Yeah.
Where it was, just the opposite, where his partner was a person not of color, but like that was different.
Yeah.
That people like hated on. So like if you were to play Professor X, he could also go the other direction as well.
Right.
Be more kind of like empathetic to these kids that are different.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But then I wonder if he does play Magneto, who they cast as Professor X is. Because it's got to be somebody at his caliber.
Tom Hanks.
But yeah, that's true. And Tom Hanks would be decent.
Yeah.
It's hard to see him as Professor X, but...
Right.
Yeah, but it's got to be somebody that can match him acting-wise.
Oh, yeah, so that they can play off of each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because they're going to exchange some dialogue.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I tell you what probably not going to be is John Travolta. Even though he's embraced his baldness now.
Yeah.
Especially due to the fact that his latest movie freaking bombed at the box office. This movie called The Fanatic. It's directed by Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit, which just makes me laugh. Yeah, it was in 52 theaters.
Okay.
It took in $3,153.
No way. Seriously.
Spread over 52 theaters.
Yeah.
That's pathetic.
It's a couple tickets a theater.
Yeah.
Wait, how much did it make again? Let's figure this out really quickly.
3,153.
53 divided by 52 theaters.
Mm-hmm.
So at each theater, it made like $60.
$60. So you gotta
divide that by
average. A ticket costs about $10.
Oh, I did 8. So you're looking at 7 tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Between 5 and 7 people in the theater. Wow.
How much did this movie cost? Does it say? How many million?
It doesn't say. I would imagine it's not gonna be more than.
I feel like he would have
million.
He would have probably got more people to watch it had he released it on Netflix or just went straight to Redbox.
Yeah, I agree.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that's pretty rough.
But this marks Travolta's 4th box office bomb in a row.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
How many different redos or chances does one person get?
Yeah, exactly.
Which sucks because John Travolta, he can be decent, right?
Oh yeah, no, he can be really good.
Swordfish was I think of that one.
I mean, I just recently watched Pulp Fiction.
Mm-hmm.
He was dang good in that. Yeah, I just want to look up his IMDb really quick.
He even did a good job in Hairspray.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's made some really good films in the past. Yeah, there was. So, The Fanatic in 2019, The Poison Rose in 2019.
Do you think it's possible?
Trading Paint in 2019, Speed Kills in 2018. I haven't heard of any of those.
No, neither have I.
Wow.
Do you think it's because Hollywood is kind of not giving him the chance at these other roles, these bigger ones? Because a lot comes down to director and script as well. Yeah,
it could be that. It could also be that maybe these are kind of the roles he's deciding to take.
Okay.
Kind of the more interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe more smaller independent movies, perhaps. I don't know.
Working his way back up to a big movie.
Yeah, but it's the last big movie he was in.
I'm telling you, I think it was Hairspray.
Was Savages back in 2012? That did pretty well. Before that is From Paris with Love, which did not work. Before that, it was Old Dogs with Robin Williams. Before that, it was The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
You know how many of these I've seen? I've seen like one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Bolt in 2008. And then Hairspray in 2007.
Yeah.
Wow, John.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, he needs Tarantino again.
Yeah.
To reboot his career like he did with Pulp Fiction. Which
is crazy because we've seen it done so many times before. You'll have a person that's kind of like, man, they haven't done like any good movies lately. And then they do one and everybody forgets about every other movie they've done and focuses on this one and wants to cast them in other movies, you know, and it just like rocket launches their career. So it just takes one. But speaking of theaters, this new pet-friendly movie theater lets you bring your dog, and as well as they also serve bottles of wine. I think you seriously...
Bottomless wine.
Or bottomless wine, yeah.
Wow.
I think you would probably need that much alcohol, like, in order to be in a theater. Like...
As someone who worked at a movie theater total for about 5 years, this sounds freaking awful. This is a nightmare.
Alcohol, like drunk people that
drunk people,
their
dogs. There's going to be poop on the floor.
Oh yeah.
The smell is going to be freaking awful.
You're going to have to like vacuum every one of those seats individually.
Yeah.
Like on the daily.
Oh man, this is a terrible idea.
You get like wet dogs in there, you know, coming out of the rain, and then they're just ugh. Man, I hope they have good ventilation.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Because,
I've seen these, like, they have these cafes that allow you to bring, I mean, of course you can bring in your service animal.
Right.
But, they have, like, those cat-friendly ones.
Yeah.
And they're a little bit, like, less maintenance, but for the most part, when you're bringing in your cat, you've usually got them in some sort of, like, carry, you know, so they're not going to get, like, dripping wet.
Yeah.
They're gonna stay relatively clean.
Yeah.
But even still, can you not be without your animal for a couple hours?
Yeah, just for a couple hours.
Right? To go watch a movie? Or wait until you can watch it at home and then you can have your animal there? I don't know. Much like children, I think like it's nice to get a little bit of a break from them occasionally, right? Your animals.
I mean, I would think so, but
yeah,
you know, what do I know? I don't have either.
Yeah.
Currently.
Yeah.
I went from 5 cats to 0.
I'm still just thinking about, like, I'm feeling bad for the people that work at that theater.
Oh, yeah.
They'd have to pay quite a bit of money.
Yeah, I can fully sympathize with those people.
I feel like you're also not going to have as many seats in there because you're going to have to leave room on either side for your animals. What about, like, do you think there's going to be any lawsuits with, like, dogs that bite other people, like patrons of the theater?
It's very possible. Or dogs that get in fights with other dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole thing is just a bad idea.
Right? And then you put alcohol. So you got these like drunk people.
Yeah, top it all off, you have alcohol involved.
This is a great combination here. You know?
Like, I'm almost tempted to go there. I think it's in Texas.
Yeah.
Just for curiosity's sake.
Right.
You know?
To see how it's actually handled. If the dogs have their own, like, spot where they've got, like, almost blinders on either side.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, movie theater patrons are bad without animals.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine.
Adding animals and alcohol to the equation.
Yeah.
Right. It's a recipe for disaster.
So... Okay, it's 2019, people. We know that there are people out there who are gay, okay? That's just how it is. Get over it.
Yeah.
But in Rio de Janeiro, the mayor is attempting to ban a 2010 Avengers to ban 2010's Avengers: The Children's Crusade over gay kiss. It's one panel, one shot of a gay kiss, and he's trying to ban it.
In like this, an upcoming comic, or
no, this was a 2010 Marvel Comics story.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
And now he's going back this far.
Yeah, he's going back this far,
like,
and he's trying
almost
to ban it.
like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to ban it from even like making it into Rio.
I think so. Let me see if I can find this quote here.
I feel like it's pretty difficult, like at least in the US and like all around the world, to really do something so offensive that they ban it.
Yeah.
Right?
And all this does, if you're going to ban a comic book, all this does is going to drive people to find it.
Yeah.
That's all it's going to do.
Yeah. You tell somebody they can't do it, they're going to go do it.
They're going to do it. That's why I'm pro legalizing marijuana. Same type of thing.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different
But
issue.
one panel where they kiss?
Deal. Who cares?
So he allowed, like, that seems so hypocritical when you allow all these other movies and stuff.
Not only that, but Rio de Janeiro has this giant festival.
Yeah.
Right? Where people are barely dressed, walking through the streets.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
it's a celebration of like love and of
so
happiness
that's okay.
Yeah.
But this drawing depicting two guys kissing, oh ho ho, no.
Not on my watch.
Can't have that.
That's not my Rio.
Yeah. Hashtag not my Rio.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty random.
I'm still trying to find his statement here. A statement from the organization. It's been 3 panels. I can't really. I don't think it actually says his statement, but yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah, too little, too late. Like it was. No,
Especially,
I mean, not that like he should have been like banning this, but like you wait that many years and then come out. Wow.
And I guess like they're having kind of a book festival. I think that's what it is. So they're bringing in a bunch of stuff, old and new stuff. So I guess that's why
okay,
it's a comic from 2010. But
was this the only one? Like he had to go through all the material to see if there was anything else that he needed to ban.
Yeah, I'm sure there's other stuff.
Doesn't the dude have more important things to do than to look through all these like forms of artwork? I don't know.
You would think.
Huh. Interesting. And a little bit more better news, I would say. Harry Potter, there's going to be a new film, and they're bringing back the original cast.
Excellent.
They're going to be taking it from The Cursed Child, like the material from The Cursed Child, and bringing it to the big screen. They've got Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert, like all set to come back as adults.
Nice.
Along with their children. I hope that they actually, because did you ever get a chance to read The Cursed Child?
Yeah.
It was okay.
It was okay.
Yeah, right?
Well, because the thing is, it's a screenplay. It reads like a script.
Right.
So I kind of enjoyed it because I would read it out loud and kind of do all the characters and everything. Mm-hmm. But I think most people is like, it's kind of weird.
Well, it's more like going back and like reading some of Shakespeare's, not like in our like language, like in our English.
Yeah.
But more Shakespeare-esque, like sitting down and reading one of the plays. That wasn't the thing that like threw me off. It was just like the overall story.
The story
was subpar.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay.
So I do feel like hopefully they don't go beat for beat off of this and kind of make it their own.
Yeah, and I think what they might do is, what I hope they do, is J.K. Rowling didn't have a whole lot of, she didn't really write the story of the Cursed Child. Mm-hmm. She had input, but most of the story came from other people.
Right.
And so I hope that if they do make the movie that she has more
control.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and making sure that it stays true to like the whole mythos that is, you know, this universe that she's created.
Yeah.
So there's not, and like wrap up some loose ends perhaps as well.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. Or see if you can get some of the other cast. I'm sure they would like a lot of them, you know, because they're just doing like panels and other stuff of Harry Potter.
Conventions.
Like, that they would love to come back and reprise their role.
Yeah. I don't think Rupert Grint is doing much.
No.
I know Emma Watson's been doing quite a bit. Daniel Radcliffe's been doing a lot.
Yeah.
They
both television and more indie movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, I'm sure the twins, they'd probably be happy to come back. Well, the one. Yeah. The one.
Wow. Spoiler.
Wow. Yeah, spoilers. One of the twins dies. Fred or George, I don't remember which one. But yeah, I'll check it out if it comes to theaters.
Now they're old enough to, you know, it's been some time that this would actually, like, they're more believable as parents.
As adults.
Yeah.
Yeah. Than they were in the very last film when they tried to old them up.
Right.
And it didn't quite work. So we've talked about this whole drama going on with Sony and Marvel and SpiderMan and
who's to blame and all that. Yeah.
And what's going to happen. Well, it turns out at this point for the foreseeable future that Sony chief says the door is closed for Spider-Man to re-enter the MCU.
Yeah.
So from pretty much this point out, he's just going to be a strictly Sony character. He's not going to be part of the MCU anymore. He's not going to appear in any of the movies anymore.
Right.
Which is so weird because it seems like they were really building him up to something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Like they were penning him as the next Iron Man.
Right.
So with Robert Downey Jr. gone, then they were kind of expecting Tom Holland to kind of pick up the reins, and now he's going to be kind of the face of the MCU.
Which he could have potentially, you know, helped usher in these new, like these young bucks into the, you know, and done exactly what Iron Man did.
Yeah.
Now
it's pretty much like, well, nope. I mean, so my whole question is, are they going to stick with the same cast? Are they going to continue on with the big cliffhanger that we got at the end of Far From Home?
Can they? Because that's technically like, you know, MCU that's theirs.
I don't know.
Direction.
I don't know how much of those movies were Sony and Marvel. Like I don't know.
It's difficult, but I almost like, especially when we finally got somebody like really decent, but I almost feel like you just need to completely, you know, cut your losses and go the Venom direction. You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because now, like, well, they could still play that up a little bit that everybody knows who he is now.
Yeah.
Right? And that he's kind of laying low as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like Tom Hardy's character, you know, Venom, he's laying low as well. So kind of play off that whole going like, I don't even know how you'd call it. Just like laying under, like flying under the radar.
Yeah.
Fighting crime. Maybe that direction. I don't know. Because he's still got 2 more movies that he's scheduled to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
they got to do something with him before he gets too old.
Yeah. I mean, I've pretty much said all I have to say about that. And I don't blame Sony.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame Sony. This was Disney. This was Disney's doing.
Yeah.
Trying to be a little too greedy.
Right. Well, from 5% to 50.
To 50.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know where they landed with the merchandise. If that was still Disney as well.
I don't know. So that's the thing. There's so many question marks up in the air.
Because it was just like these guys just kind of sat in a closed door, behind closed doors, and did the majority of their talking.
Yep.
So we're only getting bits and pieces from what kind of falls out.
Yeah.
Or the aftermath.
But so for now, all we know is Tom Holland will continue on as Spider-Man. And he's just not going to be in the MCU anymore. So all this build up with, Tony Stark and how Iron Man was his mentor and all that and all
and
stuff
Happy
with Happy and Aunt May and
Nah. I really feel like Sony, or not Sony, but like Spider-Man's character kind of, I could see this coming from DC, but not so much Marvel.
Yeah, it is a very DC move.
Right?
That is true.
That's a real, instead of saying a dick move, you're just like, that's a real DC move.
That's a real DC move. To have something really good happening and then just take it away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Building up to something? Nope, never mind.
Take it away.
Speaking of DC, Rihanna she's on a short list for playing Poison Ivy in the upcoming Batman
Poison Ivy
film.
Can't be a black woman? Oh, sorry.
She's done a little acting.
Yeah.
Kind of looked up some of the stuff that she's done in Ocean's 8, Battleship, and Bring It On, All or Nothing. So she's going to be good.
Quite the resume she's got there.
Right?
Yeah, that's quite the IMDb list.
I feel like the best way that they could play this is she could be kind of a swanky nightclub singer, right? And she's in kind of one of these more dive bars, and then she's also doing other stuff on the side. She's got other causes going on behind the scenes, but then she'd have an opportunity to sing because that's where she's obviously going to shine. Right? I could see him doing that. Or maybe if she wasn't such a major character, they just kind of had her as a side character, a side piece.
Right. And I mean, let's face it, you can't do any worse than the last live screen Poison Ivy we got.
Right.
Which was Uma Thurman.
Yeah.
So you can't, it only goes up from there.
Well, okay. So you remember, did you see A Star Is Born?
Yeah.
And Lady Gaga did a fantastic job with it, right? But where did she do the best is when she was singing when she was in her element, right? So you stick Rihanna in that same kind of element or that area, and I think that she would do pretty well at it, right? Because she's already familiar with it. It's not something out of her comfort zone. So I think you're going to actually get more of an honest, better portrayal.
Yeah, get her singing. Get her in. I don't mean to make this sound, misogynistic or anything, but get her in a skimpy outfit, right? Because that's what you do with your.
She's got nice curves.
Yeah, she does.
Very nice curves.
And have her sing and have her play up the whole sensual thing. She'd be fine.
Yeah. I've always really liked Poison Ivy, besides, that she was a redhead, but for the most part.
Of course.
But, I've always liked and kind of, empathized with her cause because she just wants, she can feel the pain of these plants, right? And she's kind of the voice. She's basically Mother Nature, right? And for her to, have these abilities. I don't know. I've always she almost reminds me a little bit of Mr. Freeze and some of these other characters that actually have really good causes and you can empathize with them.
Kind of sympathetic.
Yeah.
Sympathetic characters. Yeah. I can see that.
So yeah, I'm all for it. I don't have okay, so my one other question is there has been what's the new Batman? What's his bucket?
Robert Pattinson
was kind of upset that people, as soon as they heard that he's on a short list, you know, they were talking it up and saying, yeah, you know, yes or no, or like whether they liked it or hated it. You know, the internet was blowing up about that. And he's come out and said that he hated that because then it already like, you know, then it made these people get a feel for whether he's going to be good or not.
He's already being prejudged.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So with her being on a short list, do you think, and her being prejudged, do you think it's going to have the same kind of effect?
Yeah. I think there are people, with the whole Robert Pattinson thing, there are people who will not see that movie because he's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though it is Batman, they will not see it. Even though, like I said before, Robert Pattinson is a dang good actor, and he's done some really good films. It's just people see him and see Twilight. Mm-hmm. Everyone was terrible in Twilight.
Yeah.
Everyone. You could stick Denzel Washington in Twilight, and he would be terrible, because that dialogue is terrible.
Agreed. You gotta give him a chance.
I mean, look at... It's like the Phantom Menace, Star Wars. You had... incredible actors like Natalie Portman and Liam Neeson and
McGregor or
McDowell.
Yeah, that's
what is his name? What's his first name? No, not McDowell. Dang. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, these incredible actors, and they were given crap dialogue. And
it's difficult to do anything with it.
And Natalie Portman has come out saying, I would like to see anybody say these lines.
Yeah.
And try to make them serious.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the same thing. You can't judge an actor on just that one performance.
Right.
Especially... like I said, with people like Liam Neeson and Natalie Portman and Robert Pattinson and all these guys, they are good actors. If they weren't good actors, they wouldn't be in film.
Yeah. There's a dime a dozen, you know. You could be easily replaced.
Yeah.
But because you already know their name, you obviously know they've been around for some time and done some good movies.
So it give them a chance. Give them a chance. Although... you hire Rihanna, you're not hiring her for her acting prowess.
Yeah.
You're hiring her because she can look good and she's a big name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we were talking about FanX, and we're going to get into that here in a second, but FanX kind of made the rounds on the internet, on all the sites kind of picked up this story.
Yeah.
So at FanX, a couple of celebrities that showed up were Ian McDiarmid and Hayden Christensen. From Star Wars, obviously. And they were going to have kind of this big panel with the two of them.
Right. Which on one of these like bigger panels, they typically drop a trailer. Mm-hmm. You know, and then also talk to these celebrities and get a couple of questions from the audience.
Yeah. Well, apparently Disney got wind of this, and shortly before that panel was supposed to go on, Disney called the people at FanX and said, "Don't you dare."
See, I don't think this would have made the rounds as big or been as big of a story had they pulled it before. But already having a packed, you know, all like auditorium.
Yeah, there were people already sitting down.
Yeah,
in the grand ballroom,
which it's no small. Like, there's how many people would you say you could fit in that ballroom?
Oh, 5,000.
Yeah, right.
Give or take.
Having that many people there, and then all of a sudden just pulling the plug.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's exactly what happened. Yeah, Disney canceled the panel.
Which doesn't that also make you think they don't have much faith in these celebrities to be able, you know, they already signed these these things saying like, hey, I won't talk about these
NDAs.
certain things. Yeah, NDAs.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I agree. If I were one of the celebrities, I'd feel pretty crappy. I'm like, you don't
Trust me? Yeah. You trust me with a copy of the script, but not actually to go out there and to talk about it?
I'm not gonna say anything.
Disney could have just like had one of their people say like, hey, we want you to only ask these questions, right? Yeah. Or have, you have to stick to this script, basically. Yeah. We'll have you do a couple of things and, you'll just have to say, hey, I can't answer that, or, we'll see, build a little buzz.
Yeah. And so this has led to speculation that Hayden Christensen is going to be appearing in this new film.
Okay.
Whether it's like a
flashback
or a Force Ghost or something like that. Because one, why would Disney care if he was there?
Right.
If they weren't afraid that somebody would ask the question, are you going to be in this new film?
Right. Well, you'd think that Disney would already know, hey, they're doing, like, they have a couple of months heads up that they're going to be at this thing. And obviously the bigger celebrities, they've been around in the business long enough to know that, hey, they're probably going to do a panel.
Yeah.
Why didn't they stop it beforehand? I don't know.
Who knows? But yeah, I don't even think they're really after that even at the convention.
Like, it was only one day.
Yeah.
That they were there.
They were pretty much gone after that. So, that's kind of a bust.
Yeah. Which, I'm sure the FanX generated a lot of money, but like, hopefully they got their money back.
Hopefully.
Right?
Yeah.
After paying out that lawsuit, times are tough here in Salt Lake City.
And they don't, they pay those actors to appear, and it is not cheap.
No. Yeah, it's expensive. Yeah. I can't even remember, I can't even imagine how much they probably had to pay, Tom Holland to be there. Oh, yeah. Right?
I mean, you gotta think, if it's $250 just to get a picture with the dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that he cleaned up. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars, I'm sure.
Speaking of FanX.
Yeah, speaking of which.
Should we just get right into it?
Let's get right into it. So, we've done press for FanX in the past. I think we've done it now 4 or 5.
4? Well, yeah, because like it's a little bit more difficult because they do it twice a year.
Yeah.
Right? And we've also done press for Fantasy Con.
And Gaming Con.
Some of these other ones. They kind of, not going to lie, they get a little like jumbled together.
They do.
Yeah.
We've done press so many times, it's hard to keep track.
Which we're extremely grateful.
Oh, yes. We're very grateful.
It was I know that they'd already said that they weren't going to have as many people doing press this year.
Yeah, apparently we were kind of on the short list this year, and we got in, and that's pretty awesome, I gotta say.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of helped boost the ego a little bit.
Confidence, for sure. Going in, we're like, hey, we were one of the chosen. I am the chosen one. We have the high ground.
So, yeah, we've done it in the past, and we usually get, on average, I would say maybe 4 or 5 interviews.
Right.
This year, I messaged you, and I said, I don't care.
Pushing the interviews.
Yeah, I don't care who it is. We are going up to their table, and we are asking them for an interview.
Right.
If they say no, they say no. Fine, let's move on.
Yeah. Which we do play well together, because I love asking I like kind of schmoozing a little bit. I enjoy that part of it, and just being like, going up and say, like, because we actually, this year, I feel like in years past, we've kind of not been sure what we're going to ask them, but this year, it felt like we were just like, hey, we're going to let them promote. We're giving you a platform and an opportunity to promote what you're doing next.
Yeah.
We're going to ask you like 1 or 2 other questions, and, like move on. And it'll be just like a minute or 2.
Yep. And and because of that, we got 13 interviews.
Yeah. Whew.
That's pretty dang good.
Which we also, like, it was really funny because we were talking about this, rather than just going from like one to the next kind of a deal. Like, pinball around a little bit so we don't appear as desperate or as in need of these.
Like we were just going down the line of tables.
Yeah. Well, it also, think helps to make the celebrity feel a little bit more special.
Yeah.
Like they're just not another number and we're just checking them off as we go around.
Yeah. I agree.
Plus, we also have to make sure that, like, we've always been really courteous about it and waiting until the line is, like, completely empty because obviously anybody that's going up there and wants a paid signature or a selfie or something, they want, they're paying good money for this.
They have priority.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we recognize that to where we'll stand back a little bit and let them go through or say, but for the most part, the celebrities this year were really courteous.
They were.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is like the first year where we got more on-camera people than we did voice actors.
Yeah.
We got a few voice actors.
Right.
But the majority of them were on-camera people. I was surprised at some of the interviews we were able to get.
Oh, honestly. Same here. Yeah. You're in for quite a treat.
Yes. And so because of that, we really didn't focus on really anything else.
Right. We spent a lot of time over there.
We did.
Yeah.
As soon as we got there, we kind of went over to the celebrities, got what interviews we could, and then kind of took a break, wandered around a bit.
Mm-hmm. Did it feel a little bit like, even on Saturday when we wanted to get more pictures, because that's when you're going to get the best cosplays, right? It did feel like, or perhaps we were just in the wrong place or something. Well, I think also, like, when we were going around on Saturday, they were also doing weren't they doing the competition? Like,
cosplay competition?
Yeah, cosplay competition is usually at the very tail end of the con.
It's like the last thing of the con. Yeah.
No, it was like the very beginning of, like, Saturday, right? The very first thing. It seemed like it was a little bit earlier, but cosplays, I mean, there were still some really solid ones that we got, but did it seem a little bit like less to you? It did. The quality was still there, but just the quantity.
And I also think that a lot of the times, cosplayers, some of them, if they're really elaborate, they don't go into the vendor floor because sometimes it can be kind of a tight fit.
Yeah.
And you don't want to, damage the costume or be in people's way.
Unless you're cosplaying a character that's one of the celebrities, right? Yeah. Then you're obviously going to go there and show them.
Yeah. So if you have something that's really elaborate, you don't want people constantly bumping into it or anything. So a lot of those will be out, like, in the lobby area.
Right.
Will be out there.
Well, because they have a nice background and they can get like a good picture with a fan.
Yeah. But yeah, there was a lot of people there on Saturday, but I don't think this year was like record-breaking numbers.
No.
Like, it didn't feel like it.
No. There was still a little bit of like wiggle room or walking room.
Yeah.
In years past, it's seriously taken us like 20 minutes to go 10 feet.
Yeah. And I kind of liked what we did this year because normally what would happen is we would get there from doors open and we would stay till doors close.
Right.
And that, not only do you become extremely exhausted,
it takes a toll.
Yeah. You completely burn out.
Right.
By the end of Saturday, you are done.
Feet included. Like, you've probably walked like, I don't even know how many miles, like 10, 12 miles or something in that little like space. Yeah. And so this year, because of my work schedule, we couldn't get there right when it opens. So we ended up getting there anywhere between like 1 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Which wasn't bad.
No.
Like, we still had plenty of time to do everything and see everything that we wanted.
Yeah. And I kind of like that because when people showed up in the morning, those people were gone.
Right.
And so I think we got there right at the right time where there wasn't, a ton of people and there was a bunch of people leaving as we were going in. And so, yeah.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
I'm trying to think. We didn't go to any panels. I went to the Twisted Tunes panel, of course. Had to go to that one. Which was good. so freaking funny.
I loved how they kept, like, I mean, they couldn't keep these bigger celebrities there for the entire time, but they kept bringing in, like, have they done that before? Mm-hmm. But it seemed they had more people this year that they were, like, rotating through.
Yes. Yeah, like, they brought in Jason Isaacs. They brought in, who else? Ross Marquand.
Billy West?
Well, Billy West
was already kind of, yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about, like, you know, the guest stars that they brought in. Who else? Oh, John Rhys Davies.
Right.
He was doing narration because the Wizard of Oz is the movie they were doing, script they were doing. And so he was doing the narration of the Wizard of Oz as Gimli. Yeah. From Lord of the Rings. Holy crap, that was funny.
He crushed it.
He did crush it.
Yeah. It was great.
I mean, he was playing to the audience, you know, every time he'd speak a line, like, people would cheer, and you could tell he was loving it.
Oh, yeah.
But freaking Ross Marquand came in and stole the show.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. I could barely breathe. At certain points, I was laughing so hard.
And like who are some of the characters that he played?
So, the one that got me going the most is when he was John Malkovich.
Yeah.
As Dorothy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. I was dying.
He's done quite a few, like, didn't you say that he's gone on interviews and done quite a few different voices?
Oh, yeah.
Like, he could totally do a Matthew McConaughey, like, spot on.
Yeah, he did that one. He did Matthew McConaughey. He did John C. Reilly. He did, you know, all these actors that not a lot of people do impersonations of.
No. Which is nice and refreshing.
Crushing them. Yeah. It was refreshing.
Well, because, like, you know, everybody's done, like, a couple of them that you're pretty well known for, like, and everybody's able to do those, so it doesn't seem as unique or as special.
Yeah. And if you aren't familiar with Ross Marquand, he's on the Walking Dead.
Yes.
I don't remember his character's name. I'd have to look that up, but you know him when you saw him. Curly-haired dude. But yeah, and that panel's always good. I never miss it. This time it's pretty much standing room only. I was lucky to get in.
Yeah. We were seriously on the back row.
Yeah. And then I also went and caught a couple of my voice acting buddies.
Yeah.
Because they did the Jess and Me contest again, and a couple people I know were able to win, including one of the guys from the Fandom podcast, Nick.
Yeah.
So we went in, we saw a little bit of that. But it was good.
Yeah.
It was good, but there was something missing, right?
You?
I mean, I don't want to brag. But no, I mean, there was...
It did feel like there was something a little bit, like, missing. Whether it was the chemistry or something.
Yeah. Maybe it was because they didn't advertise as much, or people weren't as excited about it. I don't know, because it wasn't as full as it was last time.
Right.
And maybe it's because the people that saw it last time thought, well, that wasn't very good. I'm not going this time.
Well,
so if that was the case, Nick, I apologize that we screwed it for you.
It also, you know, these bigger celebrities that have been doing voice acting for years, or just acting in general for years, they're really good at improvising.
Yes.
Not so much the people that are doing it for the first time.
Yeah.
You know, and like, there's a learning curve.
There is. And I'm definitely not blaming them. I mean, it's speaking from experience, it's scary sitting up there.
Yeah.
It really is. And I'm fairly comfortable on stage.
Yeah.
Because I've done it before, but even then, I mean, it's intimidating.
Well, especially when you look to your right and you see Jess.
And you see Jess sitting there.
Just chilling there. Yeah.
And he's doing all these iconic voices, and you're like, ugh.
Is mine even that good?
Why am I even here? So yeah. So that's pretty much the only panels we saw. We sat in for a little bit because we needed to take a break.
Yeah.
on the Katie Sackhoff panel, and I didn't really pay attention to that.
That, and also that other panel where they were talking about cartoons.
Oh, yeah.
And just like whether this was a made-up cartoon or whether this was a real one.
That's right. Kind of that little interactive game we were doing.
A lot of these panels that they have, a lot of them are more to get people off of the floor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To kind of make room.
Yes.
And exactly also to give you a chance to kind of sit down, and if it's something you're interested about it, then obviously you're going to care a little bit more about it. But like, there's those really big ones that are going to fill up fast, and then there's quite a few other ones that it's hit or miss.
Mm-hmm. And I still want, one of these times, I still want to record a live episode from there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Whether we're like in front of people doing it live, or whether we're, just in a room recording, I want to record from FanX.
Live
Brandon, make that happen. Make that happen, Brandon.
Which, thanks again to Brandon. Like, a big shout out goes to him.
Yeah, we saw him a couple times. Talked to him a little bit.
He was putting out fires left and right.
He was. Yep. Yeah, but
overall, it was a really, it was a good experience.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. I do wish Colton was here today, because I would like to get his take on it and what he thought.
I mean, we're seasoned veterans of the con.
Yeah. And I have to say, and Colton, if you're listening, hopefully you are.
One of the three. No,
you correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like the whole con scene wasn't really his thing.
Yeah.
Because I know, like me, he's an introvert, and he doesn't like people or crowds.
Man.
But for
I
me,
thrive off of it. No,
for me, when I'm there, I'm kind of able to switch that off, and especially because we were doing press, I needed to set that aside. But
that, and also you feel more comfortable there because you're among people that love the same thing that you do, right? These are our people.
Those are our people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's the closest thing we've ever been able to experience to like Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody one day will know our names, though, Troy.
No,
whether it's like, famous or infamy, infamous.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are people that are there that I see that I recognize because they're there every year.
And somebody recognized you this year as well.
Oh,
walking by.
Chris.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty funny.
The MC of the whole thing.
He just kind of like looked over and he's like, hey, guys.
Yeah, because we were talking to Brandon, and he literally got my attention.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, hey, Chris. Apparently he knows me. Okay. I mean, I follow him on social media and stuff, and maybe that's where it's from. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good time. It was fun. It's always fun. Hopefully we'll be able to do press next year, because they're not doing an April one this year.
Yeah.
Which is kind of disappointing, but maybe it'll build up steam to September, and September will have a whole lot of people and more and bigger guests and stuff. So
right. I mean, you do have to save up for those bigger guests, right?
Yeah.
And people could potentially get too burnt out of it.
Yeah, and maybe that's what they're thinking.
It also gives cosplayers an opportunity to make a better costume, and also for the artists to come up with more material. If they're given a full year to be able to come up with new stuff and see what's hot and what's coming out and what they can, tailor their portfolio to, then it usually works out in their, benefit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Any other takeaways from FanX you can think of?
No, I think it was pretty solid. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty good. And like I said, stay tuned to the end of this episode. Our post-credit scene, we'll put out our first 3 interviews, 3 of 13.
Yeah.
But yeah, then and we'll explain who they are and our overall thoughts about it when we get there. So
stay tuned for that.
Yeah, but for now, let's get to our reviews. We both saw It Chapter 2.
Yes.
Why don't you go first? I've been talking a lot.
This movie, like, you've got new characters, you've got the adults, they come back 27 years, well, they're called back, and it's kind of interesting when they are, because there's only been one of the kids that stayed in the town, right? For the most part, everybody else branched off and did their own thing.
Yeah.
But like a murder takes place, which kind of forces everybody to come back, and it was interesting because they didn't remember a lot of it, and it wasn't until they were in the town that they started remembering, oh yeah, this is what happened, and they're piecing it together. So even though we might remember it because we've gone back and watched the movie again, you know, they're like it's all hazy and fuzzy for them. You know, and so that's what was also pretty nice, is because I liked that they showed a lot of flashbacks, and they also showed they did a good job with handling the old and the new, even though they did a lot of work with the kids because they're older now. Did you see this?
No, that's the thing I was wondering, is how long after the first one did they start filming the second one?
It wasn't right after. No, it was like, because they'd done one of them had done Stranger Things and a couple have done other projects.
Right.
And then they all came back for this, so they actually had to age them, or not age them, de-age them.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
That's also part of the reason why they had them, the red hair scene. Right? Because then they can make her look younger, or they can do whatever they want with her because she burst into flames.
Yeah. That's interesting. Because that's what I was wondering. I'm like, those kids look the exact same.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense.
It wasn't. They didn't start filming right after, but they just kind of de-aged them. So basically, they all get called back. And stuff starts going awry again. Right?
Yep.
They're asked to, this time, to get an object that they left when they were a child, and I think that also helped with their memories.
Yeah, I think so too.
They all had to go out on their own and collect, what was it, there was a key, there was the little boat, there was
the little postcard.
Right. With the poem on it.
Yeah, with the poem on it.
Yeah. But then once they all collected it, then they had to go down the rabbit hole and face Pennywise all over again.
Yep.
My overall thoughts, I did I thought they did a fantastic job with who they got for the most part to play their adult counterpart.
The casting was incredible.
Yeah.
Especially the adult version of Eddie.
Yes.
The little hypochondriac kid. Oh, man, that guy looks exactly like that kid. It was crazy.
Pull this up here for you.
Also the
James Ransom.
Ransom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the one that I didn't like. He might have looked exactly like him, but it bugged me that he seriously must have watched the first chapter 1 a dozen times and got that kid down, his mannerisms and stuff down.
Yeah,
but he basically played a young kid as an adult. He was too close to it. It didn't seem like he had any other interests or any other things that he'd done.
That's true, because even think about it now, you don't have the same mannerisms you did when you were a kid.
Right. The girl that played Beverly, I appreciated that they did it where she ended up marrying an abusive husband. Right? It made sense because she had an abusive father, so you can see that, and that makes perfect sense. But with the kid that played Eddie, he seemed like he never really grew up. Right?
Yeah.
All the other ones, they kind of had other things, and it made sense with Richie, who was played by Billy Hader, to be kind of this comedian, because he was always kind of witty and snarky, and yeah. But So the casting was really well done.
Great. Yeah.
It was a little bit difficult for me to see James McAvoy, like, cause, you know, the last movie that I saw him in was Split.
Right.
So it was a little unsettling to see him like, as somebody else. But, I didn't like the ending though. I wasn't too big of a fan of it. Right?
Ironic. Because
yeah,
there I was talking to Bill about how his endings suck.
That's kind of a run-on joke. And even, did you recognize Stephen King?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the bicycle shop,
or
I guess he was in more of like a
kind of an
antique store. Yeah,
and that's what people always say about Stephen King. Like his books are so good, but his endings suck.
So they really played that up.
I liked that they brought that in, kind of a little
run on or paying homage to it. The one
self-deprecation there.
Without giving a spoiler away on it, it reminded me a lot of The Labyrinth and the girl that she's just like, you have no power over me. Right? Going that direction and breaking them down.
Yeah.
It was a little hokey.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Do you remember in the original, like, how he kind of what he turned into? Like, yeah, okay.
I've seen that. I've seen pictures. I haven't actually watched the original.
Okay.
I do want to kind of go back and watch it now. Kind of contrast and compare. I also want to read the book.
The book, it was a lot more stories, like, of the town itself, like, and they'd interviewed a lot more people. Like, it was a little bit more, like, all over the place. Yeah. I seriously felt like this one, they kind of whittled it down and got a more concise story out of it, but the ending, like, It was a good, like, it was an okay, like, follow-up for it. It was perfectly fine. Some of those, like, what was probably the creepiest part for you?
Well, that's one thing I was going to say is this one wasn't as scary or unnerving as the first one was.
Right.
And I think maybe that's by design, because when you're a kid, everything can be potentially scary. Right? But when you become an adult, you try to understand those fears and they're not as scary. There are certain scary elements, but overall, it's about confronting fears and overcoming these things.
Well, because Pennywise, like, he feeds off of fear, and he turns into not just a clown, but he turns into your fear.
Right.
Right.
For the most. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
That one, the girl underneath the stadium. That was where, like, you thought that she was getting away, and then he's just, like, starts crying, and then she gets drawn back in. I'm like, no, kid, run! Yeah, that was pretty gnarly. That, and also, I thought I knew how that scene was gonna go with, Pennywise floating in on those balloons over the top of that hatchet guy. That was kind of like in the middle of town square.
Paul Bunyan.
Yeah. That was pretty gnarly.
The most unnerving thing for me is when Beverly went back to her old apartment and she was talking to the old woman.
Yeah.
So I'm like, from the get-go, I'm like, this is
a bad situation.
This isn't going to end well.
No.
And it didn't.
Yeah. But they were also able to... and that, like, it also reminded me a little bit of the Sinister movie, where you've got, like, the people that, like, have those, like, exaggerated, creepy smiles.
Yeah.
That woman was unnerving.
Yes, she was.
Or even when, like, you hear the noise of somebody running down the hallway and you can't see them, I'm just like, oh, yeah. That was a little creepy. But they were able to, as like you were saying before, as adults, say like, this isn't real, and like snap out of it a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Because they are, like, they have more control of, their fears.
Of their fear and their emotions, yeah. I also really liked that, because if you remember that part in the first one, where they all go their separate ways. The kids go their separate ways for a bit. I like that they explained what they did during that time.
Right.
And the things that they saw and experienced. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was a clever idea.
Yeah. To be able to give you a little bit more of a story because there is a huge gap of 27 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it made it a little, like, it didn't make it as difficult of a transition when you see other things that they went through on their own.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I mean, like you said, overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I thought it was a perfectly acceptable sequel. But I did like the first one more.
Same.
Because
I'm trying to go back and, like, in my mind and think of the reasons why I enjoyed it more, or why I thought it was more.
There's a lot more of Pennywise in the first one.
I also loved the chemistry of the kids.
The kids were really good.
Right?
Kids were really good.
It seriously felt like the Goonies meets Pennywise.
Yes.
Right?
Whereas the kids, I mean, the adults were just being adults and being all rational, and that's not fun.
Well, they still put themselves in some stupid situations as adults, but
they did.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, it's good, and there are some scary bits here and there. But I think they went in this one more for shock value than they did suspense that they did in the first one.
Yeah.
Like the people that Pennywise devoured. Yeah, I think was more for shock value than anything. Like the scene in the funhouse with all the mirrors.
Yeah.
And so that, plus they also kind of went a lot for the jump scares.
Yeah.
Which always kind of annoy me in horror films.
Because they're like, they look this way. Nope, they're not there. Then you know it's going to be behind them.
Yep, as soon as they look back, it's going to be there. Yeah,
but even though I thought they did a good enough draw. Like, they put on a long enough draw or pause.
Yeah.
You know, that it's still, like, kind of. Because you're like, okay, this is a little bit longer than it should be. Or is it really going to happen? Or wait, is he going to, you know?
Yeah. And even then, these movies are the kind where you think something's going to happen and then it's not, but then it'll happen when you least expect it. And yeah. But I mean,
out of, what are we saying?
Red balloons, right?
Yeah.
5 red balloons. And that's another thing. They really didn't play up that angle too much of the balloons. They did in the beginning.
The beginning was kind of cool, seeing them all, like, that was, I don't even know how the heck they did that. It probably just been with computers, but had them all drop in there and fly low across because it made it more difficult for that guy to, like, even see anything. Or what did you think of that opening scene that they did?
I thought it was very Stephen King-ish. Having the townspeople, bullies, beat up on other people.
Yeah.
I did think, like, oh, okay, so Pennywise, he just doesn't eat children. He eats adults too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That was pretty gnarly across the river.
Yeah.
That scene. Yeah, you're absolutely right with more shock value in this one.
Yeah, I think that's what they were going for this time. But, I mean, like I said, the casting is really good. Bill Hader is great as Richie. James McAvoy is really good. I like that James McAvoy didn't have the stutter until he went back to the town.
Right.
Then the stutter came back. I like that. So I like those little things that they threw
in. Subtle things that they threw in there.
I thought were really good. But the first one overall, I think, is a better film. But that being said, out of 5 red balloons,
I think I'm probably at like about a 2.5, a solid 2.5.
Yeah, I think I'm there too.
Okay.
I think I'm there too. I don't remember what I gave the first one. I think I was probably like a 4.
Yeah.
Maybe a 3.5, 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I was around there. Because it was really unnerving. This one wasn't as unnerving. It wasn't a suspense. You weren't really on the edge of your seat this time as you were on the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think maybe that was kind of by design. But anyway, okay. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much
that wraps it up. Put a nice little bow on it.
Mm-hmm. Let me get my thing. Okay. Sorry, I had to scroll through all my pictures of Anna Kendrick that I have on my phone. I have an unhealthy amount. So here's where you can find us. You can listen to all of our episodes at worldwarg.podbean.com. We're also on iTunes, Google Play, cosmicpotato.com, and I'm pretty sure wherever you listen to podcasts, you can probably find us. On social media, we're at facebook.com/worldwargpodcast. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. Just search at WWG Podcast. You can find all of our merchandise at shop.spreadshirt.com/worldwarg. You can also email us anytime.
Day or night.
At worldwgpodcast@gmail.com. Also remember you can call or text the show at any time on Joel's line at 385-240-1692. Now remember, you're not actually calling Joel.
Right.
We just call it that because he's always the one that calls. I feel like some people might have that misunderstood. So this has been World War G episode 234. That has been AJ.
That has been Troy.
Stay geeky, my friends, and stay tuned for the post-credit scene. And welcome to the post-credit scene. So, really quick, before we get into the interviews, one other thing I want to say about it, Chapter 2, is I didn't like the subplot with the villain, with the guy that was in the crazy house.
Okay.
I thought he was kind of pointless.
Unnecessary.
Yeah. Like, he kept running in trying to kill people, and then they killed him. Spoilers.
Yeah.
It just didn't need to be there.
No. Yeah, it really didn't like add anything. I guess it added more of a like because he's a human, so he can be everywhere and anywhere.
Yeah, maybe a bit more of a relatable villain, but I just like
yeah,
like he just didn't need to be there. Okay. Let's get into these interviews. So, the first one we're going to do is Jason Patric.
Yes.
Now, you'll know him best from The Lost Boys. Now, with Jason, we almost thought that we had another Brandon Routh situation.
Mm-hmm. Where he wasn't going to be as willing to talk to us.
Yeah, maybe he really wasn't going to be into it, because that's kind of what it seemed like at the beginning. But once we started getting into it, he was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I mean, there were other celebrities that maybe were a bit more energetic with their interviews.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
No, but I did think that he provided some good insight into, why Lost Boys is stuck around.
He did. And he did have one or two things to say about other vampire films, which is pretty good. So,
yeah.
So, okay. So here is Jason Patric. Okay.
So we're here with Jason Patrick. How you doing, sir?
Good. How you doing?
Good. So, we know that you're in The Lost Boys. So, there's been a bunch of vampire films that have come and gone. What is it about The Lost Boys that's kind of stood the test of time? That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Well, first of all, it's very well made. It's well directed. You have very good actors. It's well shot. And I think that it meshes in the outsider, loner, coming-of-age story that has been a staple of fiction and movies since the beginning of time. In this case, it's just with vampires and using that as allegory. And most of these other vampire movies are boring and they suck.
Wow, calling them out. I like it. Then one question we've been asking everybody, what's your favorite breakfast food?
Favorite breakfast food? Man, well, I mean, not that I have them all the time, but you can't turn down pancakes.
Sure.
And pancakes and a good omelet, turkey bacon.
Awesome. And then if you want to let people know what are some projects you got coming up?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nope.
All right. Taking it easy. That's good too. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Welcome. See you.
All right. So this next one is Lindsay Wagner. Now, for those under 40,
just go ask your parents.
Go ask your parents who Lindsay Wagner was.
Yeah.
She was the Bionic Woman.
Yes.
They also had the Bionic Man there. Wish we would talk to him, but weren't able to.
We got both sides of the story.
Yeah. So,
which was also pretty cool because I didn't realize until she said it. I didn't realize that she was going to be in this upcoming game.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And like from the latest trailer that I've watched of it, she plays a pretty intricate, like larger role than what I thought. Yeah.
Okay. So here's what you gotta know about this interview. There was a little piece I cut out.
Yeah.
Because I guess there was a little miscommunication with us and her handler because
with what we said we were going to ask her and what she was like ready for.
Yeah. And so,
which she's been around in the business so long that you'd think that wouldn't, I don't know.
You think that wouldn't faze her?
Okay, our original question was what?
It was, you've been in the business so long.
You've had a great career. Yeah.
We phrased it differently.
Yeah.
You're so old and you've been in so long.
This woman's so old.
No, he said,
how old?
You've had such a historic career. What changes have you seen in the business from then until now?
Which, I don't know, like, to me, I almost feel like that's a pretty much, like, easy pitch over home plate.
Softball question, yeah, but she didn't like that question so much.
So, like, that's what you'll, like, be able to tell from a lot of these interviews. If we're pretty quick to ask them what their favorite breakfast food is, like, we had to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, we just weren't feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but, well, we did get a couple things out of her. We learned kind of projects that she has coming up and that sort of stuff.
Quite a few, yeah.
Yeah. So, this is Lindsay Wagner.
Okay, so we are here with Lindsay Wagner. Now, you've done a lot of television. You've had a very popular, very historic career. What projects do you have coming up that you're working on?
I just finished a new Christmas film called Christmas on the Range. And we don't know where it's going to be aired yet, or maybe the company does because it was an independent company that made it. It could be sold to Hallmark or one of the other family stations. Definitely a family Christmas movie. We just finished that. It's really cute.
Okay.
What else? I just this year played a significant part in a new video game by Kojima, and it's called Death Stranding. DETH, Death Stranding. Yeah.
I've got it pre-ordered.
So yeah, you do. Okay. Yeah. and that'll be out November 8th.
Okay.
So we'll be doing PR. I'm not filming anything currently.
And then one question we've been asking everybody, what's your favorite breakfast food?
Wow. Breakfast. I have a hard time with breakfast, I gotta tell you. I do like chia seeds. You know how you make chia seeds with sunflower seeds and certain kinds of berries and some fruit in it. I have a hard time eating in the morning. That's my problem. You know?
I understand.
I mean, if I was going to have a big old heavy one, I'd have Eggs Benedict. But you know, I not. That for me gets into the lunch hour. Then you know.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. Certainly appreciate it.
All right, and so now this last one.
Megan, Troy.
Megan follows.
Yes.
Apparently, we were the only idiots that didn't know her name was Megan and not Megan.
Well, how is it spelled?
Megan. How would you say that?
Right.
Megan. Mm-hmm. No. Megan. She corrected us, and you'll hear it in the interview.
Which, yeah. I mean, we do try to do our best to, like, you know, already go in with a game plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it, like, I don't know, when it's like an easy name like that, you'd think there wouldn't be a problem.
Megan.
Yeah. Some of these other ones, like, I'm seriously like, Troy, like, how do you say that name, dude? Like, I don't want to, like, get the, you know, Patrickson.
We did have a way around that.
Yes.
Which is, I don't think we did with these interviews.
No.
Which is,
I am here with.
We are here with
whomever. Yeah. Let them say their name. Yeah.
So if you ever hear us do that, it's because we didn't know how to say their name.
A little insight into the podcast. Yeah. Behind the scene.
But yeah, Megan. Megan.
Oh, you did it again.
I did it again. What is she best known for?
Her things, I was just like, I had it just pulled up just a second ago, some of her other movies and other projects that she's done. Anne of Green Gables is probably what she's most well known for.
Okay. And apparently she does a lot of
Hallmark movies,
directing, does a lot of behind the scenes work. So
yeah.
And if you'll notice, this interview goes by quick. Because it was just something that we just felt like we needed to get out of quickly.
Yeah. Hit it and quit it.
Exactly. So, here you go. Enjoy a very quick interview with Megan Follows.
Okay, we are here with Megan Follows.
Megan Follows.
Megan. I should have asked. I apologize. So what do you have coming up? What are you working on currently?
I'm about to start directing a feature film. And I just finished directing a couple episodes of a new Hallmark series called When Hope Calls. And I have a series that's going to drop on Netflix in the new year called October Faction that I'm acting in, and I also directed some of it.
Awesome. And then a question we've been asking everybody that we've been talking to, what is your favorite breakfast food?
Probably poached eggs.
Nice.
I need the protein.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time.
Okay, guys.
All right, there you go. There's our 3 interviews for this episode. Make sure to tune in for the next 3 episodes, and we'll keep dropping in the rest of our interviews.
Yes.
Eventually, we'll have all of our interviews together in one spot. Not sure where that will be yet. We'll let you know. But yeah, I mean, hopefully you enjoyed those. We enjoy doing it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a really interesting experience to go up and talk to these celebrities and try to interview them. It's quite the process.
But it's worth it.
But it's worth it. I mean,
Plus, I feel like, you know, all these other people, they get to ask them 1 or 2 questions, have them sign something. It's pretty quick. They're out of there, right? Or they get their picture taken with them. We actually get the opportunity to sit down, or like not sit down, but like stand with them and like get really like kind of close and personal and have an actual conversation with them, you know?
Yeah.
And it like, honestly, like, in years past, we've always said that the voice actors have always been like the bread and butter, and they're so grateful to be here.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's easy to talk with them. I actually thought some of these interviews were just as easy.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. You'll hear it in the future, but people like Patrick Renna, I think he really liked us.
Yeah.
I think Kel Mitchell, I think he really liked us.
He was way cool. Yeah.
He really liked the name of our podcast.
Yeah.
He thought that was pretty clever. And a few other people that, like I said, you'll hear in subsequent weeks. But for now, we'll leave it there. So, make sure you tune in next week, and we'll see you there.